please,
right now.
chime it up. I love that. Can you hear that, Roz? Very nice. Beautiful. At beautiful 528 hertz, let's just put our hands on our heart for a quick second. Let's take a deep breath and let go of the day. Come together in gratitude for this amazing opportunity to be here. We are graced with the presence of this show, this opportunity to share our love of this plant. We are here together, and thank you to our creator for this plant, for everyone here for making the show possible. We go into our hearts and imagine a beautiful white light, and let this white light expand throughout your entire body. Beautiful white light expanding into this studio from your heart. Let this white light expand beyond the four walls into the state of Nevada. Let this beautiful white light from our heart center expand to all the states, across the oceans, the jungles, the forests, all the continents, into the planets, the stars, the moon, into the cosmos we meet. Thank you for an amazing show. Let everyone who needs to hear this message make sure they hear it and receive it. Aho, aho, it is done. Ouch. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
It's nice to spend this time with you. We've known
Absolutely.
each other for 3 years. Coming and going. We
Yes.
finally got our moment.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of Get Elevated with Gia.
Yay.
I'm so excited. I've got some very special people in the studio today. We have Nicole Buffong.
Yes.
Nicole, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Gia.
Absolutely. Have Roz McCarthy coming to us from Florida on the line. Roz, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So I want to say thank you to everyone listening to Get Elevated with Gia. This is a show about cannabis. We talk about truth and clarity. All things, all topics are on the table. Today, we are celebrating a continuation of Black History Month. So we have with us Nicole Buffong and Roz McCarthy of Black Buddha Cannabis and M4MM, which we're going to learn all about. I want to thank everyone for listening. This shows the ethos of the show is global access, awareness, and education of this magical plant we call cannabis sativa. It has done so many wonders for so many people. So today we're going to share more about the brand, a little bit about diversity in cannabis, some of the journey therein. And so let's get started. Are we
Yes,
ready, Nicole?
I'm excited.
I
yes.
want to. Nicole has brought with us. First of all, I would like to describe what you are sporting right now: purple hair, which
Yes,
I love.
yes.
2 hearts on your neck.
Yes.
Not just one, but 2.
2.
And I love the branding of the Black Buddha shirt. I
Thank
want to say,
you.
whoever designed this, Roz, you guys have done some really beautiful branding. So I can't
Thank
wait to
you
learn
so
about
much.
absolutely. I can't wait to learn about the brand and what you guys are up to. And Nicole has graced us with this 528, the Tibetan singing bowl. That's right. I almost forgot my words there. The singing bowl. So as I always like to start the show with an understanding of how you guys got into cannabis. So Nicole, since you're bright-eyed looking right at me right there, why don't we start with you? What's been your journey to cannabis?
Oh, thank you again, Gia, so much for having us here.
Of
I'm
course.
delighted. And I love sharing my story because it really has brought me to where I am at this point in my life.
Sure.
It's my cannabis journey started medicinally when I was diagnosed with HIV in 2017.
Okay.
And by the end of 2017, Roz McCarthy asked me to launch the chapter for Minorities for Medical Marijuana in Georgia, which was where I was living at the time.
Okay.
I did that and then moved cross country to Nevada
Okay.
and launched the chapter in Nevada in 2019.
Okay.
And then at the beginning of January 2021, I launched the chapter. I was asked to be Western Regional Director for M4MM.
Okay,
So
I
now
see the
manage-
lineage of promotions here.
Yes,
Congrats.
Thank you.
Question though, before 2017,
Yeah.
in respect for the diagnosis and the
Yes.
medical treatment thereof,
Yes.
did you consume cannabis prior to that?
I did.
Okay,
So-
let's go back to when it all started. Don't try to side skirt and say 2017. Come on, was it 11, 13, 17? When was it?
It definitely was about 15.
Okay,
Same
there
summer
you go.
I lost my virginity.
Oh, okay, big summer.
Yes.
Big summer.
Yes. And that was the first time I tried cannabis with my
Okay.
boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
First adult I smoked with was my home ec teacher, but my dad also.
Whoa. That's a whole other topic, Nicole. Your home ec teacher?
Yeah, she was the coolest.
Oh, okay.
But no, my dad though was also one of the first adults that I consumed
Okay.
cannabis with. He was a Rasta. So I'm first
Oh.
generation American. Both my parents are from the Caribbean. My mother's from Trinidad. My father's from
Okay.
Dominica. So
Respect.
as an adult, my dad decided to grow his locks. He was already a professional. He was a surgeon and an expert in his field as a laparoscopic surgeon. So
Okay.
one of my trips home from college, we sparked up together in the
I
car.
love that.
And that was kind of the beginning of our journey around
Okay.
cannabis.
Okay.
A few years later, he was diagnosed with cancer, prostate cancer.
Okay.
He was already a Rasta, so eating ITIL food, but of course,
Eating what type of food?
ITIL.
Can you explain?
ITIL food is what is known to Rastafarians as food from the earth. Like it's everything
Okay.
is
Plant-based,
yeah,
would you say?
Yes,
Is
definitely
that
plant-based.
their word of a plant-based diet?
Yes.
Okay,
It's their
okay.
way of eating plant-based.
Okay,
Yes.
got
For
it.
Rasta is eating ITIL food because everything comes from the earth.
I love it.
And so he was already doing that, but of course, once he got diagnosed with the cancer, that was part of his treatment was cannabis, of course.
Okay.
And so cannabis had been around.
Yes.
My grandmother, I remember, and now that I look back, my grandmother had a bottle of rum in the back of the rum cabinet or
course
the
she
liquor
did.
cabinet with
Okay.
all these herbs in it.
Oh.
And when you got sick, you got a shot of that.
Of course.
And then they wrapped
Do we
you up
know
in
what
your
was in
blankets.
there? Do you have any idea?
Cannabis amongst other herbs.
So she was
whatever.
putting the herb in the rum?
In the rum.
Oh my gosh.
And it
love
became
it.
a tincture.
Of
It became
course it
a
did.
tonic
Wow.
that you got when you got sick, whether you got a bellyache or a fever or a cough.
Rub it on your
didn't
gums, you'll be
matter.
fine. Oh my God.
Exactly.
I love that.
And so that was kind of my first introduction to cannabis as medicine. And then when I got diagnosed, I had lost my dad and my sister in a car accident in 2006 on their way to my 25th birthday party.
Stop it,
And
Nicole.
so the culmination of that grief and guilt that I didn't understand how to process,
Of course.
culminated into the diagnosis.
Okay.
And I can accept that and look back and understanding what happened and the path that it happened on.
Okay.
That is what happened.
Okay.
And so, but what is amazing is that I will get to write the book that will be titled "How HIV Saved My Life" because it was my wake up call. Because in just a short 5 years, this is where I am and what I'm doing with my life. I know
Sure.
my purpose.
Sure.
I
What is
know,
your purpose? Since you know it, what is it?
this lifetime, in this
Yes.
lifetime, it is to learn how to heal myself
Okay.
so that I can therefore go out and teach others in my community how to do the same.
Of course.
And that is my purpose in this
Okay.
lifetime. And that's
Toast to
why I
that.
got this diagnosis. It
Okay.
was so that, they say that it's an incurable disease, but it's just a matter of what you believe in.
I love that.
And I know that plants are medicine.
Yeah.
And I'm a walking testimony to the fact that plants can heal you.
I love that. That probably is a whole nother show, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. No,
Yeah,
that's-
maybe we should come back and have a show about that.
Yeah,
I have a lot of
absolutely.
respect for your journey. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Especially sparking up with your dad and,
Oh,
and being a
it's-
Rasta.
It's been an amazing journey. Yeah. At one point, I had locks. My dad and I were the only Rastas practicing eating ITIL food in the house
Okay.
with my whole family.
Wow.
It was just me and him, and that was for a couple of years. Right after I became an adult, right after I left out of college.
Okay.
And so yeah, that was an amazing journey as well. But I feel him and my sister with me all the
Of
time.
course.
They really are.
How old
like-
was your sister, Nicole?
She was 26 at the time.
And they were heading to your 25th birthday party.
Yes, they were. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. She wasn't 26. She was 23 at the time.
Okay.
She was a couple years younger than me.
Okay. That's some real pain.
Yes,
My
it was
gosh.
definitely
Okay.
some real trauma
Okay.
that I did not know how to
Of course.
manage
Of
properly.
course.
And it could have killed me. Well, it almost did. I mean,
Right.
I don't know if you know much about the virus, about HIV.
I don't.
But the viral load is the number that you have to watch out for.
Okay.
That determines how much of the virus is in a drop of your blood.
Okay.
And at the time of being diagnosed, 400,000 was the count that they were finding in a drop of my blood.
Wow.
And they told me at the time that to become undetectable, it has to be under 40. And I was like, what?
Oh,
400,000?
that's a
to
lot.
40? Right?
That's-
I was
okay.
like, it didn't seem possible.
Okay.
The virus is always also attacking my kidneys.
Okay.
So at the time of diagnosis, my kidneys were functioning at 2.9.
Okay.
Kidney failure is 3.
Okay. Wow.
So the doctors told me I just would have gone to sleep and not woke up, because once my kidneys fail, then the rest of the organs start to shut down.
Okay.
And
Wow.
sepsis sets in and all
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
I got to the hospital in time. It was nothing, no emergency. It just was a rash and swelling that I couldn't get to go away or go
Okay.
down. And that's what took me to the emergency room.
Wow.
So
Did you manage some of that with cannabis?
immediately put me on antiretroviral
course,
treatment.
of course.
And that is what they give to HIV patients to prevent their bodies from getting AIDS.
Okay.
And keeps the viral load down. So within
Okay.
6 months, I was undetectable. So I took very well to the pharmaceutical drugs.
Oh, fantastic.
Very fast. My
Okay.
body responded very well.
Okay.
But immediately I had started doing research in the hospital.
Of course,
And
of
I knew that the pharmaceutical that I was on had only been on the market about 2 years.
Okay.
And,
Yikes.
and so nobody knows the long-term damage
Of course.
from using this type of drug.
Right.
But the 2 generations before that, because the medicine is made by a pharmaceutical company who's being sued by patients who had been on the medicine that they had been on for 10 plus years.
Okay.
Because it was causing bone density loss and kidney
Oh
failure.
my gosh. Okay.
So I knew that I was not about to be their guinea pig.
No.
And because that's what the doctors were telling me. Oh, you stay on this medicine, you'll be fine. No, just
Really?
stay on your
That's
medicine.
sort of like
that's
laissez-faire
like,
about
oh,
it?
this
Like-
new medicine is great. It's better
Okay.
than what it was 20 years ago.
Okay.
We're here, just stay on your medicine, you'll be fine.
Okay.
And I just was not subscribing to that
Wow.
at all.
Okay.
And so I knew this. And so I knew I had to get off any type of pharmaceutical drugs. I was already taking pain medicine because I have fibroids.
Okay.
So I was taking pain
Unrelated.
medicine.
You just had those,
Just had
yep.
fibroids.
Okay.
Related to my diet, though. You learn that as
Oh,
you become
yes.
more holistic in what you're eating and
Okay.
understanding how that works. But the fibroids every month during my period would keep me
Of
on
course.
pain medicines every 6 hours. I was taking
My
800
goodness.
milligrams of Tylenol just
Wow.
to be able to function
Wow.
and get around and move around, right? And so I knew I had to come off of everything that could possibly weaken my immune system,
Sure.
weaken any of my organs, because I was going to I was going to cure my body
I love that.
of HIV, of herpes, of fibroids.
Sure.
Those were the things that I was dealing with at the time.
Okay.
And
Hey, can I just honor that journey with you?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The energy that
yes.
you're bringing after that, like that's a lot. As
thank
if
you.
losing your father and sister wasn't
enough. Yes.
And then having that.
Yes, having to deal with that.
Yeah,
But
wow.
I knew coming out the hospital, which I
Okay.
had to stay in for 10 days when I
Okay.
initially got diagnosed, that I was not going to be on this medication for the rest of my
Right.
life.
Of course.
Immediately started using RSO. I replaced my monthly pain medicine with RSO. I had a friend in Georgia that I could trust, and that was one of the reasons I moved from Georgia.
Okay.
Because I was
I was gonna say,
literally
are you
a
from Georgia?
cannabis- Well, that's where my family lived at the time.
Okay. Where are you from though, Nicole?
So I'm first generation American,
Right.
But I was born in New York. And then
Okay.
my family moved to North Carolina. That's where I grew up.
Got it.
And then
What
we
part?
moved to Georgia, Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's on the
Okay.
coast.
Okay.
Yeah. And shout out to Jayville. That's what we call it.
Jayville.
White Oak High School is the name of the high school I went to. But yeah, so that journey continued. So I RSO into using, recognizing that I needed concentrates. That's what I discovered when I moved here to
Okay.
Nevada.
Yeah, we
that
have it
really
all.
has
Mhm,
helped me transition from using RSO all day. And
That's a
then,
lot,
Yeah. So now I just use it at night. And then, of course, understanding that there are certain terpenes that are high in antiviral properties, like osmine.
That's my favorite
Understanding
terpene
me-
ever.
One of my favorites, absolutely.
I
at
love
the
the
top.
feels of
And I
osmine.
do too. It's so
Yes.
rare, and you could hardly find it
Correct.
in cultivars. And then, of course, things like THCA. CBDA
Okay.
have these high antiviral properties. And so you don't get that from smoking the plant. You don't get that from burning the plant. Those molecules burn off after a certain temperature
sure.
and after time. So understanding how that, as I learn and I
Sure.
grow in this industry, knowing that I truly feel, and my ancestors have told me I'm going to come out with a product that will change the world. But
my
I
goodness.
really feel like there's an answer. There's a cultivar out there in the land race genetics somewhere
Yep.
in the tropical region of the earth,
I agree.
Africa,
I agree.
Caribbean, where this high osmine
Yeah.
is in and high THCA and high THCV, that will really be a formula that will allow us to come off of antiretroviral treatments and use this plant medicine to heal our
I
bodies.
love it. I love that. Wow, that is the most unique journey I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
It's what has gotten me this far. I made a video that went viral about a year, literally
Okay.
a year to the date after I got diagnosed, and that has changed my life. because
What
I
was the
haven't
video?
looked. It's just a video that I made in my kitchen at my mom's kitchen table,
Just
and I
talking
just
about-
put it on
okay.
Facebook because
Okay.
nobody knew that
Just
first
creating
year.
awareness and
That first year, nobody of my diagnosis, no one knew except my really close friends and family. I
Okay.
didn't go public with my
Okay.
diagnosis until a year later.
Okay.
And that's what just changed my life because
Okay.
then I was able to talk about it with everybody that I met. It
course.
was not a secret anymore.
That
And
must have
has
been a huge
helped.
relief
Absolutely.
in your healing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Standing in your truth is the best thing that you can
Ouch.
do because it's how I found my purpose.
Sure.
Like
Look at that.
if I'd kept it a
a
secret,
gift.
then
Right.
that's how HIV saved my life. It did.
Man, that's inspiring.
Thank you.
Oh, Nicole, I love that.
Yes.